one of those families. You know, we've got this much Cherokee in our ancestry, and they had some things to kind of back it up. There were like paintings or artifacts, sort of things to be like, oh, actually, no, we do. So imagine their surprise when we did an ancestry test, and none, zero, despite the glorious cheekbones, those not indigenous. But then, where did these receipts come from to say that we did have this ancestry? It was a bit more sinister than the fam was expecting. Have you heard of the Cherokee land lotteries? I haven't, but apparently my family won one. So when the Cherokees were ousted from their land, Trail of Tears, all of that, their land was lotteried off. My family bought into the raffle and won one of these plots of land with everything that was still on it from when the family was forcibly removed. This is why we had pictures and artifacts, things that my family just, whitewashed into our story of, oh, this is part of our history. I mean, when they talk about appropriation, y'all, in this time of banned books and suppressing narratives that don't look good on our country, it's important that we tell our stories so that people can know the truth of what happened.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, this Yakim Adrilazil, back with another quick lesson. And you could tell by the opening clip, they what? They oppress a man in his land, and a man, so like if they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, man. So that's what the Edomites do, man, and pay, like she mentioned, this, you could obviously tell, well, it looks like she perceives to be an Edomite to me. I could be wrong. But she said, well, actually, nah, I am right, because she said she did a DNA test and she has no Native American blood in her, all European, if I ain't mistaken. So technically, yeah, I think she is Edomite. So, I've met, at least once in my lifetime, a Edomite that confessed. This when I was a bit younger. I was in my probably mid or late teens or something. I think it was like late teens maybe. I met a Edomite, and that's what he tried to say. You could tell up and down he's an Edomite, but he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm 1/5 Cherokee or something like that, or Blackfoot or something like that." It was a long time ago, But see, that's how a lot of them claim this ancestry of being a Native American by doing acts like this, man. That's where the $5 Indian come in, Dawes roll, after they had moved the Native Americans off of their land. What happened? These Edomites came in, the Edomite settlers came in, and what? They had this lottery, Dawes roll, where these people can enlist, act like they're Native Americans, and claim the land, man. I'm going to go into a little bit of history on that. So, I asked the question. It said, I asked the question, where did the term $5 Indian come from? It says the term $5 Indian refers to a historical practice primarily in the late 1900s and early 20th century during the time of the Dawes Act and the Dawes Rolls. Here's how the term came about. Dawes Act and land allotments. The Dawes Act aimed to divide tribal lands into individual allotments for Native Americans. Those listed on the Dawes Rolls were eligible for these land allotments, which included valuable resources like timber and oil. Fraudulent allotment, so like your fraudulent enrollment, some individuals primarily opportunistic white settlers sought to benefit from these land allotments by fraudulently giving themselves listed on the Dawes rolls as Native Americans despite having no legitimate tribal ties. Bribes and corruption. These individuals reportedly paid small bribes, often around $5, which would be roughly equivalent to $150 today, to government agents and enrollment officials to facilitate their fraudulent inclusion on the rolls. Impact. This practice resulted in a loss of land, heritage, and wealth for actually Native families. In the terms serves as a stark reminder of the exploitation and manipulation that occurred during this period. So that's what these devils have a history of, man. They lie, cheat, steal, murder. They get what they want. And you got a lot of them which are on these reservations claiming that they're Native Americans and they have no blood ancestry to, which we know, which are the Gadites to this day, man. Their biblical name is the Gadites, man. Reubenites, etc. I'm going to bring out the precept, Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Subtitle says, Woe to oppressors. Woe to oppressors. It says, Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So it was in the power of their hand. What? Through their so-called government agencies. That was in the power through what? Manipulation, fraud, deceit, bribery. To pass these deceptive tactics, man. It was in their hands. They practiced this, man. They still do this. They still do these manipulative, deceitful practice to this day, man. Verse 2, it says, And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. And that's what they're doing, man. That's what they did to the Native Americans by using this this tactic right here, the $5 Indian, Dawes rolls, the Indian Removal Act. And then you got these quote unquote white settlers, as they call themselves, self-proclaimed white people, move in claiming that they're Native Americans, but they're not. And then they'll tell this fictitious lie and pass it on for generation after generation, said that, hey, yeah, I'm 1/5 Blackfoot, Cherokee. These people ain't, they're criminals, man. That's why they didn't generational wealth, as they call it, was not passed down. It's actually generational theft has been passed down, man. And then they walk around as if they innocent, Let's read it on the Amplified version. The book of Micah chapter 2, verse 1, it says, Woe, judgment is coming. Exactly. That's what's coming to these people, man. Judgment to this nation anyway, man. Woe, judgment is coming to those who devise wickedness and plot evil on their beds. When the morning comes, they practice evil because it is in the power of their hands. They covet fields and seize them, and houses, and take them away. They oppress and rob a man and his house, a man and his inheritance, man. So that's what they done when they came over here to the, what we know now as the Americans, man, to the so-called Native Americans here, man. Now they're walking around claiming that they're Native Americans. Well, what they have done, they robbed them of their house, oppressed them, and their heritage, man. They robbed them of their heritage too. What they did, now they're claiming that they're Native Americans, man. But the reason why I wanted to play this clip because finally you got, even though I'm not the first one to touch on this subject, many like the elders and many other brothers, man, that know this truth have made plenty, lessons on this, but this is a reminder of a continuation of what these devils still do and continue to do. And then you have this Edomite female, she's pretty much confessing, because a lot don't want to live in denial, man. A lot don't want to live in denial, they want to live a facade. But the Lord is what? The spirit of truth that's coming out, man, But like I said, I seen this video, this Edomite female pretty much confessing that that's how she gained in her family generational theft of this idea of being Native American by what? There's a land lottery, $5 Indian, dolls roll, etc. And their tongues are spinning, is falling upon themselves, man. And I'm gonna end it off there, man. I hope the body was edified. Till next time, I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Again, this Akim, a drill Azil, Lord willing. I'll be back with another lesson. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatham, and a Ball, Shalom.